Welcome in, everybody, to a Monday night edition of the Joe Quill Show. I am flying solo tonight, but that's okay. I gave Mike the week off because of the snow in the area. I basically gave Mike the simple edict that if it snows, you're not allowed up here. Well, it's basically because he's got to travel from where he lives to here, and I'm like, don't do it. So that's why he's not here. For some reason, the sound did not play when uh, we were uh, playing that beginning there. So let me just check one thing here with you guys real quick. Uh,
Who the fuck is that guy?
yeah, well, all right. So I'm not going to be hearing my sound drop. Um, so we're going to be probably. Well, you know what? One second. Let me just check my settings here because for whatever reason, I am not getting any sound in my headphones here, and it's on my end here. Um, Headphones, microphone, and just checking this here for you guys here first. So you're going to hear me talking in the background, even though I'm just talking to you right now. For you guys here first, so you're going to hear me talking in the background. Okay, so the microphone's working. Okay, so we do know that. Um, Let me try something else here. All right, so let's see if this works here. All right, you know what? I'm going headset for whatever reason. I might have to rebuild this Monday. Um, this Monday Studios, I call it. Those that use this program know exactly what I'm talking about here. So for or I may just totally redo all my. I don't know. I may redo all my studios here, as we call it, because I have a studio for each night of the week here. So um, let me try something here again. It's not working. Okay. Let me just try one last thing here. Evolution, auto, default, Realtek, hotkeys, virtual background. All right, so the virtual background works. So, social comments, advanced settings. Audio input, audio output. Now let me try this here. Okay, so at least for tonight, I'm going sans headset here. So if the microphone does sound a little bit different here, we'll just deal with it. So welcome everybody. Happy New Year, and want to say welcome in to the Joe Quill Show. Even though I said hello beforehand, I don't know what's going on. Well, I'll play with this again probably tomorrow night. um, or tomorrow during the day since I'm off. But I hope everybody had a great New Year. For those that did not join me on Thursday night for the 2025 debut of the Joe Quill Show, and also eligible on Saturday, which was on the Bleacher Brother. Every was on my Twitch, but on the W on the Bleacher Brothers Facebook, YouTube, and my Twitch and their X account. So got a lot to talk about here, and we're 7 minutes in already. So Mike has the week off this week. I gave him off because as of right now, he's still going to be doing the shows from the other side of what I'm looking at here. Um, so he sits at the other end of the table. I sit at this end. So next week he'll be back. So it's just that with the snow and everything, I warned him a week ago about the snow because it was coming up on my phone. I was like, nah. I mean, this is one thing we didn't plan on with snow because we got very little snow over the last 2 winters, and this winter probably got more snow than we did the last 2 winters combined, or at least it seems that way. But got a lot of, but we'll still get through the night here. A lot of stuff to talk about here tonight. So if you're watching, feel free to chime in, whether you're on X, YouTube, or on my Twitch. So got a lot to talk about here. So let's get to it here. So we'll talk about the NFL playoffs. They're set now. A lot of stuff to talk about with a lot of stuff to talk about with the a lot of stuff to talk about with the what was supposed to be Black Monday in the NFL. I think that we're extending it to Black Tuesday and Black Wednesday. Um, so what we will do is in the middle of the show here, we will definitely review a video from earlier this year. Actually, it was from the show on. Uh, It was on December 2nd, and we had a little exercise. I think it was about a half an hour or so. I'll play the whole thing. I don't care. Because sometimes we do have some things that I'd like to show from time to time, and this is one thing I am going to show tonight. And we'll see. And if you're watching, you're paying attention, join in. Join in chat. Let me know what you think, and you can laugh at us thinking that Gerard Mayo would get another year, but we'll get to that, and I'll give my thoughts on that and other coaches, and I'm going to make some notes during that video while I replay that video so I can give some additional thoughts because we were doing that with about a month left in the season. So, but it's good to be back on this Monday, our first Monday show in 3 weeks, and we'll get everything started here. Um, and I have this one question here, and this is the only non-related sports topic. I'll do my announcement after this, but I do have one question. If you feel like I'm wrong, feel free to do so. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. But um, question I have for you: when is it no longer okay to wish someone a Happy New Year? Now, before I answer that question, you have to know one thing. Me personally, I prefer Christmas music is not played until Christmas Eve. But I do that just to bust balls with with like B101 here in Philadelphia that starts in like November 1st with Christmas music. The music channels on my cable system. Yes, I have cable. Shut up. Um, They play on their holiday channel, whatever they call it. They start running that on November 1st. Um, you start hearing about they thought out Mariah Carey for "All I Want for Christmas Is You" on November 1st and all that stuff. So we have a whole debate with even when you start Christmas music. And my opinion is when you see Santa Claus, either at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York or after your local um, your local parade. In my case, the Philly parade is on local TV here, and it is an institution here in Philadelphia. And I believe it is still the longest running parade in the United States. So, um, so you do have that. So, just to let you know my thinking. So, I don't know how you feel, and like I said, feel free to chime in and chat. I'm more than happy to turn this into a discussion between you, the viewer, and me, the raging lunatic. Well, I'm not that raging, but I'm not Donald Trump type raging, but but I'm also not um, losing my marbles. But anyways, and no more political talk, thank you. My personal opinion, and of course, once every 4 to 5 years, 4, 5, 6 years, when New Year's Day lands on a Monday, you enter this gray area that I will admit will happen. My personal opinion, once once it's the Monday after the New Year's, I guess the way that I'm using this verbiage, if the New Year's Day is on a Monday, then maybe January the 8th. And maybe that's because when I work, like, and I've told you so many times that I work at Redacted Company. And those are watching for the first time, the only reason why I say Redacted Company is because there's a time and place where I'm going to talk about work, and there's a time and place I'm going to talk about sports and everything that I want to talk about on the show. And my rules are basically three on the show. Well, maybe then don't be a total asshole because we'll block your ass, especially if you're on Twitch. And by the way, you should be on Twitch because that's my preferred platform at Joe Quills. Um, I just feel like the Monday after New Year's Day, once that day is over, you're not allowed to wish anybody a happy new year. And with me working at Redacted Company, we are now going to get into the time of the year where I shake my head harder than Michael J. Fox because people are wishing me a happy new year and it's March. That has happened before. Now, I can understand you want to be nice and blah, 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 and you probably, and Mike is correct. I think it's about me not having all my marbles or some shit like that. But Mike is in a deep freeze at home tonight because I told him he's not allowed to come out and play. But I just feel like Monday after the new year is the day that you're no longer allowed to say Happy New Year. Now, I will say Happy New Year back, especially if I am on the clock at Redacted Company. Because, I'll get questioned, well, why didn't you wish the customer a Happy New Year back? Well, in my opinion, we don't care about your opinion. You should say it, be nice to them. And this is where I'm glad I work at home for Redacted Company because I'll be on the phone. I'll be like this on the phone.
even though I'd be like, come on, you know, I just feel like sometimes you just have to realize that maybe you just have to look at a calendar and say, you know what, look at a calendar and realize what the date is. And the reason why I say the Monday after the New Year, especially with it, if the first lands on a Monday, and Mike knows this from working at Redacted Company, those that is incorrect, Mike. How did you know Pat would not let me go out and play? No, that was me last week telling you if it snows, you're not allowed up here. That was me looking out for you a week ahead of time when I saw that we were supposed to get at that time 4 to 8 inches of snow. And the thing is, on my phone, and I can show this to Mike next week if we have a snowstorm in the works for later in the week. Um, I'm just looking here real quick. Okay, so right now, I don't know how clear this will be. And when Pat is ear hustling, yeah, I know. So I actually have an extra listener on Twitch tonight, even though she's not actually logged in, which is fine. You know, we could turn it into like bar night or whatever. And what I mean by that is everybody watches the basketball game or the football game, whatever, something like that. But let's see if this works. Let's see if we can get this clear enough that you can see this on my screen here. And I will say this when I show this, okay, we are talking 5 days in advance. Can what I'm about to show happen? Yeah. But when I looked at last week's weather, when I looked last week for today's weather, it was saying about 4 to 8, something in that range originally. And then it shrunk down because as you get closer to the date, you have an idea of, what to expect. And those even that are undereducated, which is about 99% of America, if you ask me, um, I will tell you that even with everything that you have here, no model that the meteorologists look at are going to be correct. Nobody's going to be 100% correct. So, there could be something where you're projecting it to go, right over Philadelphia and it misses by about 50 miles, the center of the storm, let's say. Those things happen. Look at hurricanes. You can project days out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's doing something else. Or, wait, this hurricane blew up from Cat 1 to Cat 5 like that. We didn't expect that. You know, it isn't an exact science, even though it is scientific. I think that we look too much into everything that. Um, so hopefully you can see this. And I am going to say this right now. It's 5 days out. I am putting zero stock into how much snow is falling. And if this reads okay on the screen, you will see what popped up on my screen tonight. Because this morning they were saying nothing. They said a couple of days ago it was going to snow, and then it's not. They said Saturday, then I think late last night it was saying Monday morning and whatever. But hopefully you can see this. Ooh, it came out a lot clearer than I expected. They are saying for Saturday. Now, mind you, this is just an estimate. This is also Apple, so take it for what it's worth. They are saying 10 to 12 inches of snow. And thankfully, the NFL, if this were to happen, put the Eagles on Sunday afternoon football on Fox. Because guess what? They would not play that game because of all the problems you would have with people getting to and from the games, and also remember, if this were to happen, Green Bay is going to have to fly in on Friday instead of Saturday, so that's going to mess up their normal practice week as well. But going back to what I was saying, you know, everything with this, I just feel like it should be it should be the Monday after New Year's, and part of the reason why, with being at Redacted Company, and Mike knows this all too well, the top seniority people, but apparently we were doing well, I don't want to necessarily say we were doing the vacation selections wrong, because sometimes it may just be a case where house rules supersede what they're doing. So, you could probably have a bargaining session there, and probably there was somebody that complained that they didn't get all 5 holiday weeks. So they said, well, I'm well, I didn't get my day after Thanksgiving and blah blah blah. So, but they just have, but with everything with management turnover time after time after time, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, you know, hey, Joe Burrow's at WWE. Oh wait, that's Macaulay Culkin. But seriously, I just think that, with the fact that I know how we do things at Redacted Company, the past practice of how the old guard used to do things and now how we do it now, it's all just a matter of, you know, um, people getting that so that you can get that. Because if you have a holiday week, you get an extra day of vacation. That's why I took advantage of it with Christmas week, because I was like, all right, well, I'm not working New Year's Eve. So, but everything's cool here. And hopefully that explains my whole theory. And the one thing is, um, even in the comments of the show after the fact, if you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to fire a comment to me on X at Joe Quills after the fact, you know, feel free to comment. I don't mind. As long as it is an intelligent conversation. Well, a lot of stuff that me and Mike talk about are far from intelligent. That's because I bring it down into the gutter, and Mike can attest to that. Um, um, as long as it's a intelligent conversation and we can state our opinions without calling each other names, and I think Mike agreed with me putting thing in the gutter. And if it wasn't for the gutter, my mind would be homeless. Uh, but but yeah, that's the one thing. As long as we can discuss, debate, and just get to the point that we agree to disagree without turning it into you're an asshole, no, you're an asshole, fuck you, no, fuck you. As long as we don't have to do that, I'm okay with it. And if you're watching live after the fact, listening after the fact, because um, I do upload this to my Spreaker, the audio, and it'll distribute everywhere. So, uh, and Mike agrees. We are friends, and twisted minds think alike. I think my mind is way more twisted than his, but it is what it is. So, so I just wanted to touch base on that. I did want to mention that here as a little preamble here. New Year's. And I wrote on this on my notes there, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day rant. It's not even a rant. I mean, I haven't really had a rant. Now, if you want to hear a rant, okay, when Tony Bruno gets riled up, even though, probably, when he starts going on his rants, then yeah, he's going to make it look like that the arteries in his neck are about to explode and shit like that. But, you know, I'm more of a controlled aggression, you know, almost like it's a passive aggressive rant, if you want to call it that. But, anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick here before we get to the main portion of the show. And Mike, sorry, you're going to have to watch yourself in a little bit here because the one thing I wanted to take advantage of, and even if it did not snow, Mike and I would have reviewed this video and would have critiqued ourselves because I think it would have been a fun exercise to do here. So, but you see everything on the bottom of the screen there. I just want to see where we're at here right now. So, we didn't even get to the first real topic here, which is the NFL playoffs, and playoffs are set finally. Took until probably middle to end of the third quarter when you realize that Minnesota was basically getting their asses handed to them by Detroit. So let's give Minnesota one of those. And once again, it is not playing on here. All right, so let me just see one thing here. Audio out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. All right, so what I'm gonna after the show, I'm gonna have to. Well, actually, I'm off tomorrow, so I can tinker with everything there. So, and I know it's playing to Mike and to everyone that's watching on YouTube and on X, but for whatever reason, it's not playing it to me. And Mike says he heard it. And here's the thing: I could because Mike knows how I work with when I do the show, and it's basically the same thing all for actually all five shows. Um, we have this show Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. And I think on Wednesdays we're going to be going back to 10 o'clock again because of the fact that because the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network is going live. Uh, so download that app right now, either Apple or Android. I mean, if you're in your car and you want to listen to one of our shows, you're and you're driving, you can listen without having to watch the video. And when we don't have any live shows on, you can actually watch. You can actually hear some of the music that AJ has on there, and we'll go from there. So just wanted to let you know in regards to everything that's going on here. Um, so now for whatever reason, my sound isn't going, but we do have the playoff set here. Detroit gets the bye in the NFC. Let me see if I can find a bracket here real quick. There we go. Alrighty, so let me share my screen here so you guys can see that. And this is the ESPN bracket. Now, the one thing to remember as I show this here, the one thing to remember is, and we're used to this now because of the fact that this format has been in play, or how they see the divisional rounds has been the case for 10, 15, 20 years now, and they reseed after the first round. So when you hit the divisional round, the Chiefs will get the lowest remaining seed in the AFC. the Lions will get the lowest remaining seed in the NFC. So the Lions would get the lowest remaining seed of the Rams, Vikings, Commanders, and Packers. And the Chiefs would play either Texans, Chargers, Steelers, or Broncos, depending on how those three games play out. Um, so the Saturday games, congratulations once again to the Houston Texans because they earned their annual spot for the Saturday 4:30 game. Texans won the West. Chargers got the top wild card. They play each other Saturday at 4:30 on CBS. The 8 o'clock game on Saturday. Now that is on Prime Video. Now, if you do not have Prime Video, you will be able to watch it on Twitch. Um, there is a Twitch channel where they show the game for free. So, if you're too cheap and you're bitching and moaning, oh, why do they have it on Amazon Prime? You don't have to get an Amazon Prime account, even though it is nice that you have, like, for example, shipping and music and everything that they offer. You can go on to. I mean, actually, you don't even need an Amazon Prime account to get the football game. So you just go to the link, and if you are listening to me tonight and you say, hey, can you say something about Saturday and this and that? Yeah, I'll give you the link. I don't care. It's not like it's an illegal link. It isn't like one of those illegal streaming sites. This is an actual streaming site that is legal that Amazon puts together so you can watch it on Twitch while the game's going on. Uh, so, so that is the Saturday game. Then the early Sunday game is Buffalo and Denver. Denver beat up on Kansas City's third and fourth string. So Broncos got in, and they will take on the Bills on the early game. So, and I just realized this because just reviewing the matchups in the first round, um, I just realized that the three AFC matchups are the first three matchups of the playoffs, and then the next three are the NFC. Now, granted, the NFC matchups are better, but it is what it is. Uh, and then you go Eagles and Packers at 4:30 on Sunday. Be interesting to see what happens if that snow does occur, whether it's 2 inches or 20 inches. Um, and also, if you saw my phone about 10 minutes ago, I will let you know that is 5 days out. Don't go telling everybody we're going to get a foot of snow. It could happen that it may not snow at all. Trust me, that's the way it is here in Philadelphia, being about 60 miles from the ocean. It could end up being rain depending on how that storm travels here. So that's the early game. That's the second game on Sunday. The game on NBC and the Cock, aka Peacock, is Buccaneers and Commanders, and the Rams take on the Vikings. Now, one thing I have to be critical of here, and now I understand you want to have your guys on optimal. You want to have them at optimal condition for this time of the year. And optimal condition, especially now, this time of year, when you played 17 games in 18 weeks, optimal is a relative term. And I have to criticize the LA Rams. I don't know if he wanted to drop to the four because he thought that the Lions would lose to the Vikings. But Sean McVay, in my opinion, I think Sean McVay, if he didn't win a Super Bowl, if he wasn't boy genius, if he didn't get the Rams to a second Super Bowl where they just did not show up, if he didn't get the two Super Bowls, my opinion, I think that's a fireable offense, what he did. Because, in my opinion, I want to avoid the two NFC Central teams, the Lions and the Vikings, as long as I can. Now, granted, the Rams did beat the Vikings. If you remember, they had that controversy with the face mask for the safety near the end of the game. But you will have that rematch on Monday night. Bucks and Commanders and Eagles and Packers. Now, if the Vikings had won that game, I think this probably would have been the first time this would have happened, whether it's just two wildcard games or three wildcard games, depending on whatever in the conference. If the Lions had lost to the Vikings, we would have Rams and Vikings, or Rams and Lions, that is, Bucks and Commanders, Eagles and Packers. If the Rams lose that game and all the other matchups stayed the same, all the results stayed the same, you would have had three week one matchups for the first round of the playoffs. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff there. But you do have that, and I saw on ESPN they did have a they do have their association with other whatever secondhand ticket site. Those tickets are going for like $500-$600 on the secondary market already. So imagine what happens if like the Vikings come back to Detroit next in a week or two. So, but those are your six games in the first round. They'll reseed here. So if it's Eagles, Commanders, Vikings, they would get the Commanders. If it's the unfathomable thing that the Packers beat the Eagles, then they would play the Packers. So, but we'll see what happens with this over the weekend, and hopefully we do get the Eagles through to here. That they would end up playing maybe even Tampa Bay, and maybe it's extra cold because even though Tampa Bay has won a couple of games in cold weather, they haven't won many. And back in 2004, I think it was, or 2003, to January 2004, the Bucks came up to Philly and they won the final game at the Vet, the final Eagles game at the Vet, but people don't remember that they played at the University of Illinois to play the Bears, and they won a cold weather game where it was like 15 degrees. So if you say the under 40 thing, it's not valid anymore. It's just that they haven't played many games under 40 degrees anyways because of the division they're in. So, but it's going to be a fun playoffs, and I don't think either one seed has an easy road to the Super Bowl. Lions are going to start getting some of their defensive players back, but some players they don't. Some players they may not get back in time. But the Chiefs, they're starting to get their offense going again. And I'm sure some people say, well, oh, they got blown out 38-0. Yeah, but you had Carson Wentz taking it. So I don't want to, because some people will say, oh, they lost to Denver 38-0. Yeah, they had a high school team out there basically. So, but this is going to be a fun playoffs, and I'll try to be active as much as possible on. I'll try to be as active as possible on X, on Blue Sky, and on Facebook that weekend. So we'll get there. We'll get through all this, and hopefully we'll get to see that team in green, the Eagles, here for Super Bowl licks or 59. So but that is a couple of weeks away. So that is that for now. Um, I do have one announcement I do want to make here. I did make this announcement on Saturday, and uh, it is official. The Bleacher Brothers are going to be taking over Gulfstream Park for Pegasus World Cup Day, which is January 25th. So uh, we will be there. Me, AJ, Chef Tom, Frank, Defo, Jeff DeForest. He does a couple of shows with us here on Bleacher Brothers. He'll be on as well. So, Mike, you knew about it, but I didn't make it official. It is official. We are going to be down in South Florida. And the worst part about the trip is going to be flying home on Sunday because I got a comment from AJ and he goes, "Man, you don't stay around after the event's over." It's like, dude, the Eagles may be playing in the NFC Championship game and it's a 3 o'clock game. I want to be home by 3 o'clock. So I don't want to be, like I said, I don't want to be in the air, even though things can go sideways. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting at the airport at 3 o'clock hoping for another flight to get to Philly. Or actually, personally, I would actually tell people, I would actually say, hey, give me the BWI. I don't give a shit. Because um, the one thing with me, as long as I can get the BWI, I can Amtrak it back to Philly and go from there. So, but that's the thing with that. But also eligible from what from what I saw right now with our Bleacher Brothers calendar, I would have a show at 10 o'clock, and then we will have a 6 hour show from 12 noon to 6 o'clock, looking over the races. Defo doing certain things. I mean, planes are still in the works, but we're spitballing ideas and stuff like that. But we're gonna have a ton of fun down there. Mike is already going to have. Um, Mike's going to have the bail money ready just in case, and we'll go from there. So, Mike is already warned about. We might get into trouble, but we'll see. But so that was the big announcement. We are going to be at Gulfstream Park at the end of January. So, uh, and I'm excited for it. I'm probably the most excited because get to go down there and see a new racetrack that I haven't been to before. So, so hopefully, if you're down in South Florida, depending on how we're set up, hopefully we'll see it down there. So that was the big announcement. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm probably going to have to listen on the listen on my screen below me here, if I can. But what I am going to do here is, and I'm just looking at the. Uh, okay, so a couple of coaches have been fired so far. Some may still be fired. I will play for you now the video that the part of the show where Mike and I were going through all 32 coaches, and some of the coaches were Captain Obvious that we skipped them, but you'll hear that here. So, it's a little filler. I even got a special banner for this. No, that's not it. There you go. That's not how I wanted that. Damn it. Hold on. All right, so let me do this. Edit. Ticker, scrolling text right to left. Save. There we go. So we're going to play this segment here, and here you go.
Jets fired their head coach already, blah, 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 this and the other thing. So I will have to do that as well. Obviously, some of these teams we know that Andy Reid's not getting fired. We know Nick Sirianni's not getting fired, but we'll just go through the standings division by division, first to fourth in each one, and we'll say who stays, who goes, and we'll begin the AFC East because A comes before N, and we'll begin with the AFC East.
Okay.
We know Buffalo's not changing coaches
Nope.
because if you saw the Buffalo Bills video, and I saw it because one of my high school buddies was bashing LaSalle College High School because McDermott went to LaSalle. He goes, "We've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divisions in a row." And they asked him to count higher, so he went 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Nah, seriously, but we know he's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
So that's basically going to be the case with all the division winners, but we're still going to go through the motions here.
Okay.
Miami 5-7.
No.
I say no, but let me give you a case for why. The last couple of weeks, does Mike McDaniel look like a guy who's been on a 3-week bender with Charlie Sheen?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, apparently last year, now it was a cold weather game as well, but you do have the exhale from the cold, but apparently he was vaping on the sideline, even though it was hard to prove because the exhale was a lot more than just regular breath.
Right.
But nobody will remember that. But
I say no.
I mean, I say no, but if something were to happen, you can look back at those things there.
Gotcha.
The Jets already fired their head coach Robert Saleh, and he's saying thank you. I appreciate that.
He really is. Yes.
Now they did mention the interim coach here. I think they're just going to go in a totally different direction, just blow everything up, even possibly some of the roster, including Aaron Rodgers. But
Including QB1. Yeah.
yeah, so I think we can skip over that for the most part.
Okay.
New England. Is Mayo one and done?
No.
I think he got to give him one more year, right?
Exactly. Yeah. At least one more year.
I mean, he has made a lot of dumb decisions, and the thing is with him, if you think about it, he's a first-time head coach. He's doing it on his own. He probably doesn't have the right offensive coordinator in place, but he does have Drake May, who's starting to come together as a quarterback.
Yes, he is.
So I think he deserves at least one more year.
Yeah.
Or so I would think. But then again, New England has been spoiled, and this is their second straight year that they'll have a crappy record. Last year they went 4-13 under Bill Belichick's final year. And he's still got a 25-year-old woman to whatever. But I think he'd give him one more year.
You do.
Yeah. So that's the NFC. So we already know the Jets need a new head coach anyway.
Right.
So we're saying yes. I threw that don't be if you see Miami fire their head coach, you know why, but I don't think it's going to be the case. But if it does happen and we're not expecting it, oh, by the way, remember last year sneaking that little vape? And it's like, oh shit, yeah, something like that. But I think we got two that we can skip here. Pittsburgh, obviously, we can skip with Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
I mean, he's never had a losing season in 18 years, I think it is now. John Harbaugh, he's not going anywhere.
Nope.
So we know that. Interesting case here with Cincinnati. Zach Taylor. Defense hasn't done anything.
Defense is garbage.
And for the third time this season, the Bengals scored 35 points. The rest of the league is 35-0 when they make it to 35 points. Cincinnati is 1-2.
Isn't that the craziest stat you ever heard?
Well, that and up until last week, Lamar Jackson only had one loss against the NFC, and it was against Danny Dimes.
Yes, right?
Well, at least we got a half-decent quarterback to beat him, but at least a half-decent quarterback. But now, the one thing I would say is, now, do you think you keep him or do you fire him?
I'm going to say fire.
Ooh. So Mike says yes to Cincinnati.
Love their quarterback, love the offense, can't stand the defense, and unfortunately, they've been trending this way for the last 2 seasons. So, yeah.
I will say he gets one more year. Because I'll tell you why. How many playoffs wins did the previous head coach have in 15 years?
1, wasn't it? Oh,
He was 0-6, 0-7.
okay.
I dropped my pen there. That name is escaping me as well. Seasons. Marvin Lewis.
Oh, that's right.
Marvin Lewis went like 0-7. He did.
That's right.
He did Buddy Ryan on steroids. So he kept losing games.
Right?
He's never won a game in the playoffs. So.
That's right. Okay.
So I think he gave him one more year because he actually went to a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
But let's see what happens with that. But if it's like 4-13, then yeah, I would say yeah, you got to cut bait. But right now, I say yes, you keep him.
Okay.
Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski.
Keep him another year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this because he went to the prep, but I think that you give him one more year because the Deshaun Watson experiment failed.
Yes.
That's not his fault.
No.
He wasn't the one that made the trade, even though you're still expected to do the job.
Right.
But then again, he did have the first year where Deshaun Watson only made like $1.3 million because, we got to push the money back so that when he loses those 11, 12, 13 games he lost, he'll be losing the league minimum. So you didn't lose that much money. You only lost about that much. So,
Yeah,
but,
give him 1 year.
yeah. So I think he gets one more year. but there were high expectations in Cleveland. That may lead to his firing, but I think that you keep him for one more year.
Okay.
That's just me. So that's the North. AFC South, we know Houston isn't changing coaches.
No, they're
Uh, Indianapolis.
not. Do we get Steichen another year? No.
You're firing him?
Yeah.
All right, you want to submit a drug test?
You like Steichen, huh?
Sometimes I like Steichen. I just think that he had last year he had Anthony Richardson out the whole year.
Right.
I think he handled the Richardson situation rather well. It's like, well, he called him. He said Richardson said, "I need to come out for a play."
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he benched his ass, so good for him for doing that. It doesn't help that you have a 97-year-old who thinks that nap time is 1 o'clock when the game starts, and Joe Flacco. But I say you keep him. I don't think his job's in trouble at all.
Give him another year. Okay.
So you got Cincy in Indianapolis. I got nobody yet
Okay.
until we get to Jacksonville.
Oh, Doug, see you later. Come on back here, retire.
And I agree with you there because um, he lost the locker room,
He did.
and his offensive coordinator Press Taylor. He didn't do shit in Philly. He didn't do shit here. He didn't do shit there. He didn't do anything here. I think you got to. I'm surprised he hasn't been let go already.
It's going to happen.
Because think about it. After the 2 games in London, you got to make sure he gets back to the United States on his own without having to do it on his own. So it's like, oh shit, we got Philly in 2 weeks. Then they flex it to that 4:05 bridge game.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll still keep him for that. Then they played a close game with the Eagles.
Yes, they did.
So it's like, oh, we got to keep him a couple more weeks. Then after they got blown out after the bye and before the bye to Detroit, it's like, oh, he's definitely going now.
Right?
No, he's still there. He's definitely going after this year. We agree on that.
Yeah, we definitely agree on that.
So we both have Dougie P proving my point that he may be worse of a coach or manager to win a title in this city over Charlie Manuel, and that's hard to do.
That's very hard to do.
Yeah. So I think we can pretty much say the top 3 in the AFC West: Kansas City, Andy Reid's not going anywhere unless he has a heart attack. LA Chargers, Harbaugh's not going anywhere unless he has somebody, one of his assistant coaches on the opposite side of the field. Denver, he's not going anywhere.
No, it's not going anywhere. No.
What about the Raiders?
I would give him another year.
Okay, we're both in the same boat there.
Yeah. Because he's trying to develop that culture in there, which I like. Give him another year to develop that culture.
Mhm.
Something they haven't had in a while.
And the one thing I would say here is why you keep him for another year? Well, he may get fired after the first round pick in the draft.
Yeah.
If he does not draft a quarterback,
Oh, he's out there.
mhm.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Now, granted, they had that point in the that point in the draft where it was like all the star quarterbacks were taken, Daniels and Williams and May. So it's like you really don't want to reach, but everybody's taking offensive players. They took the tight end, Brock Bowers. So I think You give him another year.
Yeah.
You give him another year with a new quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we may have a situation like some of these other firings here, where you have a young quarterback, and then all of a sudden the young quarterback has to deal with a new head coach and a new offensive system because the head coach got fired.
Yeah, that's why you keep him another year. But like you said, if he doesn't draft a quarterback,
hmm
yeah,
Even though that's more on the GM, I think that he needs to really say we need a quarterback.
yeah,
So
put your input.
yeah. So right now you got Cincy, Indianapolis, and Jacksonville, who you feel needs new head coaches. I'm just on Jacksonville right now, even though we put the Jets in a separate category because they're in that limbo area of interim head coach. And I don't think we missed anybody else who was. Oh wait, we missed a team here, Tennessee Titans in the AFC South. Tennessee is Brian Callahan. They're 3-9 right now. They've had special team disasters all year. Sunday's team was kickoff fiascos. But I mean, do you give him another year?
If this is his first year, yes.
So yeah, I mean, I would say if they lose out and go 3-14, then maybe. But right now, I would say that he gets another year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we covered all the AFC teams, so definitely we're done with that. So we missed the one, but we had that oh shit moment, and so let's go to the NFC here. Eagles, obviously no. After week 4, I think we could have said possible.
Yeah, but now, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The team woke up and they told him what Shea and Irving on the Dan Patrick show when he calls in. Yeah, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan. He said, "Run the damn ball." Well, guess what? The Eagles told Nick Sirianni, "Run the damn ball."
Yes, and they've been doing it ever since.
Yep. So that is what they're. So we know he's safe. We know Dan Quinn is safe in Washington because he's got an 8-5 team, and basically, coaches want to coach for him, players want to play for him. He's the perfect coach with a new head coach, new ownership regime.
He really is.
Yeah, and a couple of weeks ago when the Eagles were playing the Commanders, somebody on a bike, and I wish I saved this photo. I think I shared it on Facebook. It said 10-9-8 fuck Josh 10-9-8 fuck Josh Harris.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know he's going nowhere.
Right.
Dallas Cowboys.
Strike 3. He's out of here.
Well, I think he's gone. But I will tell you this. It won't be your classical firing because his contract is up.
That's right.
He's essentially a free agent after this year. He's a free agent that Jerry probably won't want back.
So he'll let him finish out the season, and that's it.
Because he is on record saying that an in-season coaching change is the worst because he had to do it once with Wade Phillips going from Wade to Jason Garrett.
That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, we're both looking at it the same way here, even with midnight green colored glasses on.
Right.
Mike with the Eagles hat on as well. All right. It doesn't match. It doesn't match the head, the sweatshirt, but I don't give a fuck now at this point. But
Gotcha.
so, but even though we both have Eagles hats on now, because I decided, oh shit, I got the hat right over there. Because I had to wear it at Acme so I can get my extra 5% off yesterday.
There you go. Well, that's right.
So
Acme has that on Sundays. That's right.
yeah, not hat, anything.
Really?
Yeah. Now, but the one thing I would do if I was a manager, I would put a 25% tax on there if they were wearing a Dallas Cowboys uniform.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're both in agreement that Dallas will have a new head coach, even if they have a miracle run to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we agree on that. New York Giants, Brian Daboll.
Exactly.
You know how I think it was Samson in the Bible. He had and hopefully I get my biblical story straight here, because if not, I'm just a bad Catholic. I am a non-practicing Catholic, right, by the way. So so if you're a single lady and you're into Jesus and stuff, well, sorry, but hopefully it is a Bible thing. But I think it was Samson. He grew his hair long, and then when they cut his hair, he lost all his power.
Yeah.
I mean, it may even be like a Greek legend instead, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I might be confusing things because I had a rough day at work and blah blah blah.
You're fine.
So you get the idea.
Yeah.
Brian Daboll, he lost all that weight. I think it took his coaching out of him too. Well, it also did not help that the general manager let Saquon Barkley come about 90 miles south.
Yep. Yeah. Dable lost his mojo. Lost weight and mojo at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so we agree on that. We both think the Giants are gone as well. So Mike has 5 coaching changes right now. I have 3. Now, that does not include the coaches that have been axed already. So we go into the NFC North, and basically we can skip over this because we know that Dan Campbell isn't going anywhere. We know Minnesota's not going anywhere. We know Green Bay's not going anywhere. So that's 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
And we covered Eberflus getting canned. So we're just going to skip over the NFC North altogether. So Chicago goes into that special category of those that are going to go through the whole coaching process because they already fired their coach.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, they could conceivably hire the interim coach if they really wanted to. Probably not going to happen, but we're just going to leave it in that special category.
Okay.
So, because we have another coach, another one that got fired. Dennis Allen got fired earlier in the season by New Orleans, so that's 3 head coaches gone.
Yes, it is.
So we'll skip over him. Atlanta, I think he needs another year at least.
He does.
Yeah. I mean, it also doesn't help that Kirk Cousins is thinking every game's a primetime game where he's playing like shit.
No, it doesn't.
Now, remember how he used to be the world's greatest 1 p.m. quarterback?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. But we could be seeing Penix time.
Possible.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I said about Michael Penix is Even though he doesn't have the running ability because he's had multiple knee injuries in college, he has an arm like Michael Vick.
Oh my God, it's a cannon.
hmm
It is a cannon.
hmm
Yeah.
So when I so in future weeks and months and years, when I compare Michael Penix to Michael Vick, remember it's the arm, it's not the legs.
Gotcha.
So just for those that are watching after the fact. So Tampa Bay, I think we're skipping over the South as well. Tampa Bay, I think he stays because I think Tampa Bay wins that division. They may even get the 10 wins.
They might.
Yeah. So, and Baker Mayfield, he got his weapons back and they're starting to win again.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought Atlanta had the tiebreaker
Uh,
because they beat Tampa Bay twice.
yeah, they do. Let me just pull up their remaining schedules here. Atlanta's final five at Minnesota,
Loss,
at Vegas.
win.
Now, before we move on to the next game, just to let you know, some people are complaining. Do not move Eagles Steelers to Monday Night Football.
Why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 93-yard.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Seriously, because Monday night games can get flexed.
Okay.
I think they have to be flexed by today.
Mhm.
So I think they're keeping that as Monday night. Don't quote and week 16 they play at home to the Giants.
Right.
Win
You win.
at Washington.
Loss.
Now that's a flex game. That could end up being a Saturday game. It could be a Sunday game.
Right.
Oh no, here comes trouble. Here comes trouble.
Hi, SJ.
So notice she doesn't say hi Joe first. She says hi Mike first. I knew she was going to say this too because only because when she sees my picks, because what I do is on the Thursday show, but last week it was Wednesday because of Thanksgiving.
Right.
I post my picks in her betting section of her Discord since I don't have a Discord yet, and also I'm trying to promote the show. And part of the reason why I post on the Discord is I tend not to fill in the spreadsheets like the horse racing spreadsheet. Let me just tell you about my horse racing picks over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And it's getting to the point where if you see me talking horses somewhere, on Saturday and all that, you're going to hear people in the background saying this about me.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yes, SJ, we have double Eagles hats.
Yeah, why? Yeah, why did I grab my Eagles hat again?
Yeah.
Mike had his Eagles hat on, and I didn't. I was just like, fuck it. It doesn't match, but here, it's over.
Oh, SJ.
But anyways, but going back to the college football. Like when we would be talking like games, we'd be sweating everything. She would always hear from me, "Oh, I'm sweating the UNLV game, basketball or football." She would be like, "Wasn't you Vegas and UNLV?" Well, when it comes to UNLV basketball and UNLV football, those games are usually starting 10:30, 11, 11:30. So guess what? It's the degenerate game of the night.
Right?
Kind of like the Hawaii football and basketball games when those games start at 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-mm.
Now she loves UNLV.
Okay, SJ.
Oh, and I'm going to say this right now since SJ is a UConn alum. I'm going to say this right now. Jump on UConn future wager to win the national championship. Here's the thing. They lost the first game of the Maui Invitational in, some shady. See, she can't bet on UConn or any other Connecticut team because, that's basically the same rules in New Jersey. You can't bet a game that is, well, just to let you know, I looked on DraftKings today just for shits and giggles because UConn dropped from 2 to 25 in the men's poll.
Whoa.
So I think with the second game, hey, we do not have a who the fuck is that guy touchdown. We have Jerry Jeudy scoring a 70-yard touchdown. But UConn men right now are plus 2,000.
Whoa.
Now the favorite is plus 1,000 Duke. Can I get to my point here? But no, if you want to trap, it's Eagles and Panthers on Sunday, okay? But seriously. After that first game where they lost in overtime and Hurley was bitching and moaning about the referees and stupid calls and all that, I didn't watch with full intent last week, that first game, but you're what is it, about 10, 11 miles from 10, 11 hours from home on a plane.
Right.
You're in paradise. You're not winning the tourney. Those other two games, do you think those guys really gave a shit?
Got a point.
And also, they're the class of the Big East.
Yes, they are.
Villanova is not what they used to be.
No.
And don't be surprised if he gets fired, too.
Ooh.
But,
okay.
But, even though SJ will probably send me money for dinner, for lunch, for breakfast, and for her UConn team, even though it's the women she wants, UConn will be just fine on the men's side. You're going to have a couple of games, even in the Big East, where, oh, by the way, they had this game where, they just had a huge win over this team and they're going to Creighton. Boom, it happens. But it is December. And if you want to play UConn men, now's the time at 20 to 1 odds. Now, granted, it may go to 35, 40, 45, 50 because, maybe the Hawaii trip, maybe you catch something like that. So, Dan Hurley is scary. Well, the one thing I'll say is you just put a bag over his head when it's not. Oh, wait. Well, that's what it does. Actually, did you hear about the first time Dan Hurley and his wife got it on?
No.
She put a bag over his face and took home for the team.
Mr. Cranium.
But yeah, I can understand UConn women as well. And, I'm going to check DraftKings here only because I do quote Let me clear that. Oops. Let me see if I can find it on here. I don't want to log in. CBBW, college basketball women. UConn women are plus 320 right now. Favorite right now is
Still South Carolina, isn't it? Yeah.
South Carolina plus 300. So they're a slight favorite over UConn.
Yeah.
Notre Dame plus 425. USC plus 600. Texas plus 750. UCLA plus 900. So anyways, we got derailed by SJ. You know, it happens. So we got through. Whoops. So we're going through the schedules there. Atlanta will. You're saying Atlanta will beat New York.
Yes.
So the Week 17 flex game, where it could be a Saturday, it could be a Sunday. They're playing Washington.
Redskins win.
And Week 18, Carolina.
Oh. Carolina might win that.
Yeah. So if we call that a win, they're only getting to 8 wins. They're 6-6 right now.
And they will win the South with a 500 record.
8-9.
Or 8-9. Well, yeah, less than 500 record. Yeah.
So Tampa Bay, they play Vegas at home,
Win.
at the Chargers,
Loss.
at Dallas,
Loss.
What?
Yeah.
I got that as a win.
Gotcha. Okay.
Carolina at home.
Win.
And then Week 18, New Orleans at home.
Win.
So you have them at 9 wins. I have them at 10 wins. They win the division.
Gotcha. Okay.
What was I going to look at here? Now, we also have New Orleans. They changed coaches already. And I think Carolina, we can skip that, I think. I think it's pretty safe that Dave Canales is going to be coming back no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I think putting the cat to bed, that cat is spoiled, by the way. Her name is Noelle. And her dog's spoiled too, Gracie. But even though it's from 2 minutes ago, she probably doesn't hear me. But if she does, she'll comment in like 5 minutes or so.
You know she will.
Yeah. So I think in that regards, I think we're saying that Tampa Bay will win the division again this year.
Yeah, they will.
So, and that Sunday game,
Yeah.
I am calling it now. That gets flexed out and flexed in.
Yeah.
I won't.
Wow. Okay.
Because the 15th, even though I think that the window has passed on that, so I don't think they will be doing anything with that now. And also, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes because the NFL will say, Fox will. I think it's on Fox. Yeah, actually, that game's on Fox. It's not on CBS.
Okay.
And from what I see here, There's something funny happening December 15th for whatever reason, because both networks have 425 games.
That's kind of weird,
Now they do that in week 18
right?
because of the fact that you have double headers
Right.
because of the playoff situations, but I don't know what's going on there, but they probably decided to keep Green Bay and Seattle and not go with the potential Super Bowl matchup of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
I could see that.
But but also Fox may just say, "Fuck you, we ain't giving it to you." And once you get to a point where you block the Eagles from flexing into that game, they can't block the Eagles. The Eagles can't get blocked from another game, even though. But then again, you're talking about different networks, possibly.
Right.
Let me look at the 22nd. Well, 22nd is a 1 o'clock game on Fox, so I doubt they would keep that as a 1 o'clock game, because at the very least, San Francisco, Miami, that could be flexed out and moved to a 1 o'clock game,
Yes, it can.
or you could go to Monday night, which I don't think they'll do. But I think Sunday night, that's the game that they're going to flex.
We will find out.
But anyways, we get back to this here. So Carolina, Canales is a quarterback whisperer. I think he's starting to work on Bryce Young.
Yeah, he'll stay.
Seattle, he's going to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, after he started out 4-0 and they went 0-4, I would have told you maybe he does get fired, but the team did bounce back. So they went from 4-0, they went from 3-0 to 3-3 to 4-5, and they've won 3 in a row here. So
yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So he's not going anywhere. Arizona, Jonathan Gannon's not going anywhere.
No, he's not.
I mean, he's actually showing that he can coach a little bit as a head coach. The Rams,
McVay's not going anywhere.
if McVay leaves because he's been teasing it the last couple of years, he's quitting on his own. He's not getting fired.
Gotcha.
His job's safe,
Mm-hmm.
but the last couple of years, they did tell you that he may walk away. But I think he stays too. And San Francisco 5-7.
Stay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Unless it's a situation where Kyle Shanahan claims burnout like Dick Vermeil and leaves.
Yeah.
So you have, on top of the 3 head coaching changes that are in limbo, as I'll call it, because of the fact that 3 coaches have interim coaches already. Since you have Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Dallas, and the Giants.
Yes.
So you got 8 coaching changes, 3 plus 5.
Right.
And I just agree with Jacksonville, Dallas, and the Giants. I put that little, if something happens in Miami, that little thing.
Right.
But you got 8, I got 5, or I got 6. So we will have some, and there's, and by the way, SJ is back and we're front.
There we go. And we're back here live, and I can change the banner here. Just let you guys know, that was a segment that we had there. Before we get into the next part here, we'll go back to the main thing there on the scroll there. So Mike and I were right about Doug Peterson. I think that was low-hanging fruit, that we knew that he was going to get fired. We didn't see Gerard Mayo. And I look at that and I think that maybe it was, let's totally get rid of the um, Bill Belichick regime there. So I think that was the case there. Bill Belichick, Gerard Mayo was one of his guys, and he um, actually had bad season, and I think he might have gotten Lovey there. And what I mean by that is, if you remember 2 years ago, Lovey Smith, Houston was in line for the number one pick. Houston wins a game. They end up dropping, but everything turned out fine with them because they ended up getting a new head coach, D'Amico Ryans, and the rest is history over the last couple of years. But you know, I think when you're that far up over the last 20 years, when you come crashing down like they have over the last 2 years, yeah, it is a sign that they probably needed to make a change there. Um, so Robert Kraft is going to move quickly to hire a new coach here. He did fire Gerard Mayo, which actually happened after the game on Sunday. So it was a quick turnaround here. That he didn't even wait till Black Monday. He waited till the sunset and he let him go. So um, Kraft said the whole situation is on me. I feel terrible for Gerard because I put him in an untenable situation. I know he has all the tools that head coach to be successful in the league. He just needed more time before taking the job. I just think he had nothing to work with. But that's what everybody can join me in having an opinion with right now here. So, feel free to let me know what you think. Um, they've already asked for permission to talk to Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the for the Lions. Um, Robert Kraft was asked about Mike Vrabel being on the list, um, and the way I took it, it was non-committal on that. He said that uh, we want to interview as many people as possible, and we think we can help us get through that position we want to be in. Um, his son, team president Jonathan Kraft, will be involved in the interview process, and a couple others. Um, so, so Kraft fired Gerard Mayo yesterday, and woke up this morning to see that Doug Peterson got fired, which was no surprise. I think the bigger surprise is that he lasted the season. And I guess once you get to December, fuck it, there's unfinished year. So Doug Peterson's gone. They went 4-13 this year. They lost 18 of the past 23 games under Dougie P. Shad Khan said, I had the difficult task this morning of informing Doug Peterson of my intention to hire a new head coach to lead the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug is an accomplished football man who will undoubtedly enjoy another chapter in his impressive career, and I'll be rooting for Doug and his wife Jeannie when that occasion arrives. As much as I both wish his experience here in Jacksonville would have ended better, and have an obligation first and foremost to serve the best interests of our team and especially our fans. Blah 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 blah. So, yeah, not a good move for Robert Kraft. I agree, but I think they're going to blow things up. I would not hire Mike Vrabel if I'm Robert Kraft, only because you're going to have another Belichick type. Go outside the box. Go outside that Belichick tree. But Mike Vrabel is one of those few guys that is one of the few good branches of the Belichick tree, because the rest of them have all been shit. Um, but General Manager Trent Baalke, he gets to finish his contract. He has 1 year left. But but Peterson went 22-29 in 3 seasons with the Jaguars, including 9-8 records in his first 2 years. He won the AFC South in 2022. If you remember, they rallied from a 27-0 deficit to beat the Chargers. but they've struggled ever since after going 8-3 to start the year in 2023. And they have one of the worst defenses. And we mentioned Press Taylor on there, and he didn't really develop Trevor Lawrence like we all had thought he would. But Doug Peterson got the axe this morning. Some of the names that we did mention here. We both thought that Antonio Pierce should get one more year in Vegas. Maybe something happens tomorrow with him because it just seems like it's kind of like Black Friday in a way, where Black Friday becomes Black Friday week or Black Friday month when you're shopping on whatever store site you use. But here you have a coach that, like I said, like we both agreed in the video that I showed you, and I, first of all, I apologize. I didn't realize it was 45 minutes. If he doesn't draft the quarterback, now if it's the GM's pick and he doesn't draft the quarterback in the first round, if I'm Antonio Pierce, I walk out and say, "You're on your own, bye." Or if you're the guy who's drafting him, Antonio Pierce, if I'm Davis, I'd fire his ass because you need a quarterback, plain and simple. You're not going to survive, and I think unless you go 2-15 with hiring a new drafting a quarterback in the first round, as long as you don't go 2-15 or something where you just shake your head like Michael J. Fox, you have to realize that you have to give him a third year. Unless you have a totally horrible year next year, he should buy himself one more year. And Dallas, from what I saw today on ESPN, Mike Holmgren's contract is up next week. Well, it's up because the season's over, but it would just been continued if Dallas actually made the playoffs. But with he essentially becomes a free agent, like I said there. So you can say he's fired, but in my world, he's not fired. He ended up going elsewhere. And Chicago wants to interview him. I think I saw New Orleans wants to interview him. So there's interest. I don't know why, but I guess because, oh my God, he won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. But we were right there that Tampa Bay would get 10 wins. We were both off on Gerard Mayo. Shane Steichen is returning next year. I did see that today. I did see that the Indianapolis Colts did post that. No, I think the owner's patience, Irsay's patience, is getting thin there. Patience is also getting thin with the Maras because I don't know why, but I have to give them one of those.
Who the fuck is that guy?
This one. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the New York Giants are keeping Brian Daboll for another year. I think everybody in their right mind would say he has to go, and he's not going. And if you think fans were really acting up last year or during the season, wait till next year when they start off like 0-9, because because you're going to have to play the NFC Central, NFC North this year, I believe. So you're going to have a lot of tough matchups, and it's going to be hard to improve. Maybe he can get a quarterback that can get them back on track, or they get one via free agency. We'll see. But I mean, I don't know how you keep a job when you lose 10 games in a row and lost 11 of your last 12. But so they said that the GM and the coach will continue in their respective roles, blah, blah, blah. They each have 2 years left on the contract, so maybe that played a part as well. I don't know. But I would think that something just says that. But, you do have a pattern where you're firing coaches every 2 years. So um, the owner Mara said, "This better not take long because I'm about to run out of patience," and rightfully so. And I think Daboll is probably the hottest seat going into next season, and he probably is the the very very heavy favorite to be first to be fired. Um, I read somewhere Michael Strahan's being considered for GM. Not sure if this is true. I haven't really seen anything, but then again, he might be for all I know. So I guarantee if I looked after the show and went and saw, probably I could find something online. So what? Matter of fact, let me just see here. I don't need this anymore. Jesus Christ, I can't type. Let me see. I'm not going to totally not dispute what you said, Mike, but the only thing I'm finding on Google in the news portion of Google is when he cut off Gronkowski yesterday because he just kept going on and going on a rant about firing Gerard Mayo. Um, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'll put that in the back of my mind or in my Rolodex or wherever it is, because probably something will come up where if Brian Daboll gains weight next year, the Giants have a shot. Yeah, and that goes to the Sampson story that was mentioned as well. So, although this position is open right now, has been open for a couple of months, and they've actually done a couple of interviews already. Rex Ryan says he's convinced he will be the next Jets head coach, and that is chip off of old buddy's block. Rex Ryan is scheduled to interview Tuesday for the Jets coaching vacancy. He's convinced he'll land the job, and if it happens, he will put an end to the Aaron Rodgers Country Club, as he calls it. Well, Aaron Rodgers may not be back next year, so. He was on ESPN New York Radio. He ripped the Hall of Fame, the future Hall of Famer, for skipping the team's mandatory minicamp last June. Clearly, when you have a guy that doesn't show up for mandatory minicamp, and by the way, he's your quarterback coming off an injury, I think it's absolutely ridiculous message you send the team during a spot of the Petro and Rothenberg show. If he comes back, things will be different. If he's back, it ain't going to be the country club show up whenever the hell you want to show up. This ain't going to happen. It's just leave it at that. Rodgers blamed the absence on a scheduling mix-up. Robert Saleh called it an unexcused absence, though he wasn't particularly critical of the four-time MVP. Rodgers is undecided on his future at the moment. So that meeting is going to be in Palm Beach, Florida. And he was 46-60 in 6 seasons with the Jets. I just don't know if Rex Ryan. I don't know if Rex Ryan would actually translate today because, you got to be tough. And the one thing I've said, no matter if it is with management at redacted company that I work at or anywhere else, the only thing I want is tough but fair. You know, you're going to be tough on me, but you know what? You're going to listen to what I have to say as well. And sometimes you may get a different point of view. And the one thing I said when we had more management and more associates in my department, for example, the one thing I always said was, sometimes one person doesn't catch something, but another person does. And if somebody catches something, oh yeah, you know, catch your point of view. But, um, but you know, so that is the case there. Shane Steichen, as I said before, he is coming back. Sorry about that. But Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, is gone after 3 years. So he will not be coming back. The Gus Bus has been a failure everywhere he's gone since the Eagles tried to. Um, um, so I'm just looking here. Okay. So that is everything with that. So um, the Browns fired their offensive coordinator. Um, uh, so Bears request interview for McCarthy for vacant head coaching position. Well, after next week, you won't have to request it because you won't have a contract. Okay, so let's get to the Watson injuries. The Watsons, plural. First, Deshaun Watson. He had a setback from his rehab from his torn Achilles tendon that will extend his recovery process. I personally think he just wants more happy endings. Oh, wait, not those rehabs. Okay. Um, so, General Manager Andrew Berry said the setback was discovered during an end-of-season physical and that Watson, who had been splitting time between Cleveland and Miami for his rehab, reported some discomfort. The general manager said it's too early to give a timeline for the quarterback's recovery and that the team would know in the coming days and weeks if another surgery is needed. Um, Now, the setback would not significantly impact the team's outlook at the quarterback position this offseason. They're expected to look at free agency to upgrade a quarterback room that threw the most interceptions in the NFL. Also, with the number 2 pick in the draft, they're in position to take one of the top quarterback prospects in this year's class. So, and Barry did say that room will look different next year. The only quarterback that's has a contract for next year is Dorian Thompson-Robinson. DTR struggled in 2 games this year. Jameis Winston's an unrestricted free agent. Bailey Zappi, who started the final game on Saturday, is a restricted free agent. Watson tore his Achilles on October 20th. But the Browns still owe Watson $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons, and his cap hit is $72.9 million in each of the next 2 years. So now, in late December, they agreed to restructure his contract, adding 2 void years, which will allow the Browns to push out his dead salary cap number to 2030. Ken Dorsey was the offensive coordinator for Cleveland that was fired. And offensive line coach Andrew Dickerson was also fired. They were both fired after 1 year. Barry does not envision a rebuild this offseason for the Browns, but you never know. So I think I think what they're doing is they're saying, you know what, the season went sideways when Watson got hurt and things got sideways a little more, and that is the case with that. So, one final story here, and it's the other Watson here, and I did not print that up. Oh no, I did print it up here. Hold on. Christian Watson, the wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers, he will not be playing this Sunday because he may have a torn ACL. Uh, Initial tests on his knee today, sustained in yesterday's loss to the Bears, was a torn ACL. The source that told ESPN said that Watson was expected to undergo more tests to determine what other damage, if any, there is to the right knee, and no decision has been made on when or where Watson will have surgery. So, NFL Network reported that there was believed to be more damage than just Watson's ACL. Matt LaFleur, the Packers coach, indicated after the game that Watson's status for the postseason is not good. I'm not super confident about that right now, said LaFleur. Watson was coming off a bruised left knee that forced him miss the previous week's game at Minnesota. The injury was a non-contact play in which the ball went to Dontavian Wicks across the field. Watson needed help to get off the field and was carted off to the locker room. Now, the timing of the injury not only wipes out Watson for the playoffs, which begins where the Packers will come to Philly on Sunday. I would imagine if that snow forecast for Saturday happens, and just remember it's 5 days out. Once we get the Wednesday or Thursday, we can go and look at that again. But not only does he miss the playoffs, he misses the game on Sunday. It means he's likely going to miss a portion of next season, which is the final year of his rookie contract. So, even though his team is the opponent in Philly here this week, you know, you don't want to see that happen. Well, actually, the top wide receiver in Green Bay probably, but he's. And I had him on fantasy a couple of times over the first couple of years, and he has been injury prone to say the least. And it just seems like every time I looked, he was questionable with an injury, or he was out with an injury, or something like that. So, but that is the case there. So, just a reminder. Tuesday 9 o'clock, Thursday 9 o'clock. Especially if you follow me on Twitch, and if you're not following me on Twitch, why not? It's so much better over on Twitch, even though I still do it to YouTube and the X because I'm an equal opportunity person. But even if you're listening after the fact, go to twitch.tv/Joe Quills. Follow me there, and because I'm trying to get to affiliate status where I can make a little bit of money here and there. So, we'll see everything with that. So, but I would definitely say preferred is Twitch, because if you go on Twitch, you'll get that alert right away. I mean, I will hit that alert. I will start the stream about 10 seconds into all the stuff that my program does. You'll get that alert on your phone, on your iPad, on your Android tablet. Boom, you'll get that alert and you'll be ready to go. So, that's the one thing I would definitely say is if you really want to know when I'm going to be live or when I just start a show, follow me on Twitch, because if you set up those alerts, and I think they default to those alerts, you'll get it right away. Boom. And I'll be playing the music, and next thing you know, boom, we're ready to go. So that is going to be it here for this Monday night. And thankfully, this actually was a good test run for when we are on the Bleacher Brothers Sports Network, because there may be shows where I end up having I end up having somebody after me at 11 o'clock, which means a hard out. So everything is working out perfectly here tonight. So we are signing off right at 11 o'clock. So 9 to 11, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Wednesday, probably 10 o'clock. So probably be 10 to 11 or 10 to 12. I'll have to see what comes up on Wednesday nights when everything is really going because we may go to 12, or what we may do is we may pull a Pat McAfee and say, we're done on ESPN, but continue on YouTube and whatever. So we'll see. So, but anyways, we'll figure that out in the coming days. So, do appreciate Mike for joining me tonight. Everybody who's been watching, even if you did not participate in chat, got a lot of eyes on X tonight on the Bleacher Brothers X. Do appreciate everybody there. Appreciate everybody who's going to be watching after the fact, and also on my Twitch. So that's it for now. And we'll do it live again tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. Join me then. And I have no idea why I'm writing for Quills Picks Winners tomorrow because I had to veer off to Turf Paradise because I had parks all written up and they canceled, obviously, because of snow. But anyway, so that's it for now. Do appreciate everybody for joining me tonight. And we'll do it live again in 22 hours. And I will see you guys in the winner's circle. Have a great night, everybody.